All right, let me just quickly share with you my plans for the day. Yes, one of it is to be here. The second is to edit a story that I intend to share with you tomorrow, God willing. And much later to follow some Premier League matches. Of course, my team is not playing today until tomorrow. And of course, look forward to that big encounter between Usyk and Joshua. Of course, that's one match that I definitely don't want to miss today, hoping that Joshua will reclaim his title. And for the fact that I know that you're with us right now, it means that we are part of your plan. And for that, I say thank you as I welcome you to the studios of Weekend Deal, Africa's biggest deal. It's always a pleasure to have you join us on the show. Yes, last week we talked extensively about regulation of our public transport system in Nigeria. And this weekend, of course, we are going to continue in that direction because there's so much to talk about, knowing fully that the transport sector, plays a critical role in the stimulation of any economy. And road transport system actually account for about 90% of movement in the country. Hence, the need to properly regulate the sector to ensure safety, security, sustainability, and of course, to fix the sector really in order to get things right. So in our bid to continue discussing the regulation of public transportation in Nigeria, let's take this background report put together by Francis Obe, and after that we talk more.
The basic necessities of life, namely food, clothes and shelter, are impossible to be achieved in any society without transportation. And without transportation, life as it is today will be inconceivable. Ideally, every local government should have its own transportation system. But what is the situation today? Who is regulating the public transport sector as it has become an all-commerce affair?
As of today, the public transportation system in Nigeria is in disarray. It's in a complete mess. And that is what has given birth to the use of motorcycles as a means of public transportation in Nigeria, which was not so in the past. It is also part of the failure of the public transportation system that has resulted to the one-chance system and so many other criminal activities.
Once upon a time, it was common to see taxis and commercial buses with legible identification numbers on them. But today, the story is different.
The side numbers is not there today. You only see associations promoting that today. You see association of National Union of Road Workers, their members, they have the side number. You see the Pated Taxi Abuja, they have the side numbers. You see the bracket people, they have the plate number, the side number. I want to tell you that majority of the vehicles operating as commercial don't have side numbers. For example, if there is an incident, or maybe the person violated a traffic regulation, and you want to track him, you cannot track him because there's no sign you can use to hold him down. No number you can use to hold him down. When you see a code, the way they were using the code before is they write the code. The first part of it indicates the owner. The second part indicates the registration number of that very vehicle and the driver with the union or with the company. But the one I'm proposing is a code that will be used for identification of the vehicle, identification of the owner, identification of the driver, and it will be in the database of the company that is registered to run that transport system.
While yellow and black are widely accepted as the colors of cabs all over the world, it isn't the same in Nigeria. Most states have distinct uniform colors to signify cabs or drop, as they are more commonly called. The signature yellow and black have become synonymous with Lagos, while Abuja uses the national colors of green and white.
The onus is on the transport company now to allot code to the individual vehicles. That code will be attached to the owner and driver of the vehicle in the database of the company, which will be shared with the Federal Ministry of Transportation. And through the Federal Ministry of Transportation, other security agencies can share the data of the various vehicles, the drivers of the vehicles, through the Federal Ministry of Transportation. The policeman can have access to that information about that vehicle there. When you are here and you look ahead, 500 meters ahead or 200 meters ahead, and you see the color, you know, oh, this should be the vehicle of company A. And when it gets closer to you, you can see the code. When you see the code and you input the code into your phone using the short code system of the service providers, you can get the name of the owner of the vehicle, the company managing the vehicle, the driver driving that vehicle at that moment. You can know it from your phone. So when you have that system, all this rubbish going on, the madness going on now in the system will not be there. They seem uncontrollable. They park anyhow. They pick passengers anyhow. Nobody is controlling them.
A few states in Nigeria are moving towards smart technology initiatives to drive efficiency in economic activities, manage data, and secure residents. Within cities, ride-hailing platforms like Uber and Bolt tap the democratic nature of the internet to provide cab services and regulate service delivery to their own standard digitally.
The only thing we can pick from the Uber system is that the regulation of the Uber system make it more dependable. Because they will inspect your vehicles, whether your vehicles are roadworthy. They have records of the driver. They have database for the drivers. They have database for the vehicles. They can track the vehicles. So people have confidence.
The government's obligation to safeguard public safety and welfare can only be executed through regulation in the road transport industry.
We have many codes. The former codes that are being used cannot be linked. It's not linked to the database. It's of no use. For example, the code on the taxis in Lagos is just for the unions that, oh, this is our vehicle. This is member number 7. That's what they are using it for. But the code I'm proposing is the code that you can use. You can input into your phone through the use of the short code system of the service providers to identify the company, the owner of the vehicle, the driver driving the vehicle. And the same code can be used to track the vehicle.
Our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on regulation of public transport sector in Nigeria.
Well, an interesting submission there, and trust me, a lot of people have been advocating for this, regulation to, have that code that will, identification code that will not only, identify the vehicle, the owner, but also provide information about the driver as well. So when these things are done and put in their right places, of course, it will go a long way in checking some of the excesses we see on the road on regular basis. Well, right now, let's just quickly go to Lagos and to share in their experience, and this is put together by NTA Channel 10.
Where else would you see busy roads and a large crowd at a bus stop if not Lagos, the commercial nerve center, with an estimated population of 15,400,000? This is a scenario on a daily basis. Transportation is a key component in the life of everyone. For a city like Lagos, the transport business is a very lucrative one. Despite the presence of the yellow commercial bus, Plus the state-owned buses, there are still unpainted taxis and mini buses. Most of them do not follow procedures to register their buses before operation. The question is, who regulates them? Are they authorized to be on the roads?
Have painted your vehicle or not, so long as you are in the transportation business in Lagos, you are expected to register your vehicle. There is an agency we call Motor Vehicle Administration Agency, which is an agency of the Ministry of Transportation. Is in charge of registration of vehicles that are used for transportation. So whether your vehicle is painted or not, you have to register with this agency. Anybody who as registered with the Lagos State Government through the Ministry of Transportation, through the Motor Vehicle Administration Agency, is authorized to be on the load.
These unpainted commercial vehicles provide relative comfort. They are now the alternatives, especially with the ban on motorcycles popularly known as Okada in the state. Is there a body that regulates the drivers? Are there designated routes they ply?
So they are supposed to be managed and regulated by Ministry of Transportation through the Motor Vehicle Administration Agency. They are supposed to have tags, they are supposed to have badges. But if they are in a public transport system and they don't have all of this, what they are doing is illegal. And when they are caught in the act, they are made to face the law as specified by the 2018 traffic law.
There are allegations that some of these cars have no legible identification numbers in them, plus the drivers use this opportunity to carry out criminal activities like kidnapping, one-chance and robbery, etc. Is the identification of numbers on different parts of a car still operational? Can this identification help to curb the criminal acts perpetrated by the drivers?
Unpainted taxis or commercial vehicles or cars being used within Lagos metropolis. This should be discouraged too, because we have a lot of these operators using these vehicles for robbery.
If you come to the Ministry of Transportation to register with the Motor Vehicle Administration Agency, they give you a tag, they give you a number so that you can be easily identifiable. All taxi cabs in Lagos are easily identifiable. So they are easily identifiable by their color, by their numbers.
The buses that are of different colors, over time, as we begin to regulate, we will begin to catch those people and they will disappear from our roads. So, and that's the essence of the regulation, that's the essence of the reform, just to make sure that we have a decent public transport for the people of Lagos State.
The primary aim of every passenger who boards a vehicle is to get to his or her destination in good time and safe as well. However, commercial drivers are advised to follow due process in the registration of vehicles to avoid being penalized.
All right, that's from Lagos there, and regulation of the transport sector is very, very important because it will go a long way in checking some of the insecurity we experience on the road as well. And of course, you can send in your contributions via our text message. I'm sure the numbers will be on the screen any moment from now. Send to us, of course, we get to share with the rest of okay, there you have it, that's a number there. And we have a guest who just joined us, but we are not meeting him yet. Let's just take this next report, which borders on the regulation of transport sector in the FCT, and this is put together by NTA Abuja.
The Utako Motor Park is the biggest motor park in the FCT, and it's such an irony that a motor park located in the city center is rowdy, scattered, and seems unregulated.
Most of the cities have master plans, and in most of these master plans you find that there are special places designated for motor parks. I think over the years you have proliferation of these motor parks, both legal and illegal. Here in Abuja, from our research, we found that the only designated motor park in Abuja is the Utako Motor Park. Over the years also you see in FCT, a lot of parks have mushroomed all around. You have in Area 1, you have various motor parks, intercity, transcity, or you in intracity, you see them all over. And also for the trade unions, the motor unions, you have the NURTW, you have NATO, you have a host of them that are well organized unions actually, but you find that all they are interested in getting a space, get their revenue, and then people enter and then go to their various destinations.
The question then arises, who regulates these drivers in the parks? Are their vehicles traceable? Do our taxis and buses have legible identification numbers in case of eventuality?
We have the Transport Secretariat that regulates the union activities, and then we have the union that regulates the drivers' activities. Some of the vehicles are trackable because we have online business partners now, such as Uber, Bolt. These vehicles are always trackable. Under the license operator scheme, we have what we call side number, and each side number is attached. We have what we call data capture form. We take your biometric information, your passport, then the vehicle plate number, and each vehicle could be traced through the vehicle number, the owner of the vehicle, or even if you are a driver, because we have a column for the owner of the vehicle and for the driver.
We have 4 unions here where they are monitors and we there under them. We appreciate government and minister for the park where they produce for us and provide for us so that we can control our passengers and our fellow drivers to get inside the park so that for the safety of our citizens. Any vehicle there inside the park, we have a register and we have a number so that any motorway person enter, whether you miss something or you lost something, anything involved, they will come back to the park.
The Federal Capital Territory Directorate has begun the issuance of special identification numbers to commercial drivers operating in the FCT. The side numbers are written boldly at the bonnet, rear, and doors of the vehicle. The essence of the identification numbers is to ensure safety, orderliness, and efficiency of commuters and motorists, respectively.
All right, so the Abuja experience there in terms of regulation of the transport sector. We are having some of messages coming in. We will take them in the course of this broadcast, of course. And let me quickly introduce you to our guests. He is Mr. Olairuwaju Osho. He's the Executive Director, Safety Beyond Borders. You are welcome to our studios.
Suleiman, it's a pleasure being here this morning. Good morning, Nigerians.
Okay. Now, you have been following some of the reports we've been sharing with our viewers.
Yes.
What are your thoughts when we talk about the administration of our transport system in Nigeria? Are we where we should be?
We definitely are not where we should be. You know, the administration of transport sector in Nigeria is exactly the way things are in Nigeria generally.
How do you mean?
Okay, you know, in Nigeria, things are comme si comme ça. You know, yes, let's face it.
Say that again.
Comme si comme ça, neither here nor there. You know, it takes us, for example, eternity to plan for anything good in Nigeria, because the public servant drivers and the politicians who ought to do this for the nation are not committed the way they should be committed. Okay. And Suleiman, this may shock you to know that, for example, in 2008, there was a bill to establish the Nigerian Transport Commission, Nigerian Transport Regulatory Commission bill in 2008. And from 2008 to 2013, this bill was not approved. This bill was not passed. It didn't become law. Now, in a serious country, it doesn't take you from 2008 to 2013 to try to do that. Up till I'm talking to you now, it's not been done. The bill was, this bill was discussed in the National Assembly, and that's the bill that will have established a commission that will regulate all this. Now, we are talking about transport policy. Now, in 2010, the federal government introduced Nigerian Transport Sector Policy. 2010. This is 2022. We are still talking about.
But we understand that the framework is before the president now for approval.
Okay, from 2010 to 2022, 12 years that other cities, nations have emerged. You see, if we really want to move forward as a nation, we need, number one, we need public administrators, civil service that are committed, passionate. They have their heart in the game. They have their brains in the game, their head in the game. They know themselves that, look, this is our city, this is our nation, this is our community, this is where we live, this is where we will die. We are civil servants now. We are the ones that are determining the affairs of transport sector, education sector, energy sector, and so on and so forth. If we don't do this quickly, ASAP, we will retire and will come into this same hell that we are creating for Nigerians. You know, in a decent country, it doesn't take you 4 years to do a transport policy. In a country where the people have their mind on development, it doesn't take you 6 years to do a bill that establish a commission that will regulate orderliness of transport sector in your country.
We are trying to provide solution to the chaos that you're talking about. Now, another, worrying situation or issue is the fact that today vehicles, everybody can just go on the road and decide to be a taxi driver without proper identification and all of that. Are you concerned?
I should be concerned. Any sane Nigerian should be concerned. Because Suleiman, this will shock you. Nigeria needs help from God. I don't know how God will do it. 14 years ago.
But God will not come down to help us. We have to help ourselves.
14 years ago, I saw this problem 14 years ago. And I decided to send a letter to the Minister of FCT then, 14 years ago. I sent a letter to the Minister of FCT. I said, we need to transform FCT infrastructure holistically. Let's just make FCT a model. You are you are a resident of this town. There's no bus stop in FCT. There's no bus stop in FCT that you can say this one is a bus stop. What we have in FCT as bus stop is like a zoo of cars, zoo of vehicles, where people come together to enter a vehicle in a very disorderly manner. So I wrote this proposal, and it touches the intermodal transport system that transformed transportation system in FCT completely. I wrote the proposal to the minister. It was sent to the acting PAMSEC. I met with the acting PAMSEC with 4 directors and 2 deputy directors and the public relations officer of that ministry at that time. I made the presentation and they said, wow, this is beautiful. We'd like to do this to transform FCT. Can you give us a full proposal? I went to Birmingham, UK. I went to Dubai. I went to Maryland, USA, so that I can put picture, to the proposal.
Yeah.
I sent 32-page proposal. And one day I received a call. You are needed in the ministry. I got there. I was to meet one assistant director. After a meeting with the PAMSEC and 4 directors and 2 deputy directors, and I said, so who are we meeting with? He said, with me, sir. I said, you alone? He said, yes. I said, I know already that this is dead. And he said, they say I should tell you that everything that you wrote is on the pipeline. 14 years down the line, it's on the pipeline. And there's no, vehicles are carrying people away almost on a daily basis in Abuja, known as one chance, because there's no regulator. So the regulation is nothing to write home about.
Did your proposal, include identification numbers?
Identification number.
And how critical is that identification number?
Identification number and control room.
Okay.
Now, the identification number is very, very critical. But you don't start with identification number, actually. The hallmark of regulation is registration. You start with registration. So you want to be a transport sector operator, then there should be an agency where you go to register. Either as a bus, or as a minivan, or as a taxi. So you register.
Are you saying that there should be a system that will accommodate civil servants now who, tend to have that as another stream of income?
Uber has done that already. You see, because we didn't do it here. Uber has done it. That's why you see that all the car hailing services are doing well. So you can go to your work like you now, Suleiman. You can be in NTA from 7 to 5. But while you are coming to work today, you already made 5,000 naira. And when you are going, and the people that you carry, they are safe. They feel safe because they didn't just flag you down the road. This culture of flagging taxi down on the road is not good. It's not safe. And it's not hygienic for a city like Abuja or even any city in Nigeria for that matter.
Well, when you talk about that identification of, vehicles, the drivers and all of that, in other climes, these are, the best practices you get in other parts of the world. And of course, that is exactly what we intend to share with you in this next report put together by Idayola.
A universal part of social life is movement of people from one place to the other for work, tourism, trade, pilgrimage, and so on. People travel from one country to another, from cities to cities, and once travelers reach their destination ports, stations, or parks, their next pick will be taxi or cab that will take them to their destinations. However, picking up taxi in a new environment must be done with caution and knowledge of taxi system in such destination to stay safe.
When you are traveling and you have a destination in mind, maybe you're going out of town, I would advise you do some internet check, Google check, to find out what to expect, including the taxis you will be entering. Like if you are going to London now, you can decide to go to the internet, look for information about getting a taxi in London. I know there are a lot of black taxis in London. There may also be some other colors, so you know the service routes they go to, and the ones that are owned by the municipality, maybe the local government, or those that are owned by the central government. If you live in a place like London, developed world, you can go into a shop where you possibly buy a ticket and take a book for tourists that will tell you the taxis you should enter when you get to your destination. So it's good to do some background check, some profiling before you set out.
All over the world and in Nigerian cities, taxis come in different colors and patterns with their distinctive medallion numbers or taxi identification numbers, which show that they are properly licensed.
There are three most common taxi colors: black, white, and yellow. I think the top two are yellow and white. Predominantly white is most dominant. In many places you find, but the thing is that even people that have private cars, most of the colors is white. So that is why you have some coloration added to them. Like typically in Dubai, where you have the white colors, but you see on top of, there are different colors on top of the roof. Then you go to America, it's principally yellow. You go to Britain, you find black.
Just like trying a new local cuisine, traveling in a local cab for the first time in new environment will give you insight into the culture of the city. From one country to another, the taxi in each country offers broad spectrum of experiences to visitors.
The essence of knowing those numbers is something that is more memorable than the plate number, because those numbers they put on the bottom of the taxis are very unique. So it helps you to easily, maybe you left something or the taxi is waiting for you, and when you come, there are a lot of taxis in the parking lot. So you remember the number of that taxi, especially for security. So that is why you have those numbers on the vehicles. Easy identification, security, and peace of mind.
Nigeria has one of the most interesting taxi colors in the world, with bright colors that are so easily noticeable from distance, like the classic yellow cabs of Lagos City, the deliberate green and white stripes color of Abuja taxis, and blue and white taxis in Port Harcourt, Oyo and Edo with similar colors of brown and yellow, while Kaduna with yellow and black colors. Kwara taxis are yellow and green, though with new technologies, online hauling taxis like Uber and Bolt are gradually taking over the road all over the world. But the beauty and charm of traditional taxis cannot be erased.
An interesting report put together by Dayola there. And we still have our guest here with us in the studio, Mr. Osho. you saw that report. Let's further, expatiate rather on the issue of coloration of some of these taxis, and also talk about the routes that some of these, vehicles are expected to ply, within the city. How critical is this?
Very critical, Suleiman. A lot of things interplay there. Number one, safety. Number two, beauty.
Okay.
Number three, aesthetics. Safety, beauty, aesthetics, and orderliness. So these are four things that come to play in what you have seen. And this is the way it ought to be in climes that understand that cities are competing with cities. Cities are competing with cities. So you hear of Monaco, you hear of Paris, you hear of London, and you hear of New York. So cities are competing. So when cities are competing, city looks for things to do to stand out. Now, nations are competing also, and the playground for nations competition is the cities of the nations. So when we understand this in Nigeria, we will know that Nigeria is competing with other nations. For tourists, for investors, for investment, for foreign direct, FDI, and even for people that want to change their country, that want to become citizens of another country. This is at play. That's why a lot of people are running to other countries, because they feel that, look, Nigeria is not good. So what can we do, even starting from the transport sector, to put things in order? Okay, for example, from the various things that have been shown, let me give you the example of Dubai.
Okay.
In Dubai, they don't even start with, the color. They start with the species of vehicle that they are going to use.
Okay.
So, for example,
like the brand,
yes, the brand. Almost every year, they scale up.
Okay.
Because they believe that this is commuting from one point to another point should not only just be for safety, it should also be for comfort. So they make sure that only vehicles that are top notch that should be used for taxi. Like when I went there in 2006, as at that time, Director Generals of parastatals in Nigeria were driving 406, but 406 was the taxi of Dubai in 2006, and subsequently they scaled up. As of today now, I think they are using maybe Toyota Camry 2020 or 2021, as taxi. Okay, that's what big men drive in Nigeria. So you are taking care of comfort, then you take care of safety. Safety. How do I make sure that people that commit from one point to another are safe? Yes, and we can be accounted for. So they brought in this color code. So this color code, for example, New York, it is yellow, and this is regulated by particular, institutions. They are private sector people. We need administrators who can dream, who know that, look, nations are competing, cities are competing, and we should be able to put our, city, in a pedestal of competition, whereby it can be able to rival other cities and become places that are very attractive, that people themselves feel very proud to live there. And then others see the pride and joy of the citizens, and they're able to come and be part of what they see there. Politicians gain, they win election, and they feel that, okay, we must compensate our party people and put them in offices to aid, they are the one heading these parastatals. Okay, so now instead of picking quality people, they just pick anyhow people to become, for example, the DG or the executive secretary of the parastatal. Now this man is supposed to be the egghead who is thinking, I know that cities are competing, and I'm privileged to sit on this city. How do I drive it from where I met it to far, places that others we come and say, wow, who did this? Who did this? But they don't think like that. You just get there and say, okay, where are the money? Show me the money. Get me the money. You get to civil service offices. You see people watching television in the office at 11 o'clock. Because the leader has not created a benchmark. There's no key performance indicator. He has not shared any vision and said, look, this is where we want to take transport sector in FCT in 4 years' time. So when you have leaders who are thinkers, then you can be able now to move things from point A to point, not even point B, but to point F, which is called quantum leap, so that those who come after you can be able to take it from there and say, look, if it move from point A to point F, I'm going to move from point F to point P, so that I can also break records.
But Mr. Osho,
and make things better.
You know that even as things stands, we have a series of regulations in place, but the problem has always been the implementation of some of these, laws that are expected to guide the drivers, the vehicles on the road.
Okay, so when if you put a guard in your house to make sure that a checkmate the people that are entering, and you are giving him the kind of people that must enter and the kind of people that must not enter, and then the guard is sleeping on duty. Anybody will enter. That's the problem of Nigeria. We have rules. Implementation is the problem. But don't we have implementers of the rules? They are there. They don't know what to do. For example, we have Ministry of Transport. In FCT, we have FCT Transport Secretariat, and there are staff there. But you go out there, what do you see? You see people driving against one way. I was coming here this morning. Now people are just breaking, red traffic light. Red. People were going at red. I was the only one that was stopping at red. I said, look, am I a mad person? It looks as if I was the only mad person. So are there not people who are supposed to be implementers of that? And then when they implement, they hide in one corner, they catch you, they collect 2,000 from you. So you have not learned anything because they collected money and they let you go. You have not learned anything. So Nigerians should learn to know that if we are occupying a position and we fail to, one, even do what is the minimum that is expected. Even minimum that, if every officer that's sitting on position of authority in Nigeria is doing just the minimum, Nigeria will be moving forward.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, infractions are treated with kid's glove, and the people never learn. You understand me now? Why am I being punished? I mean, look at the city of Abuja everywhere. You see traffic police hanging in corners. There are places that need their attention. They will not go there, but they hang in corners where they will catch somebody, and they catch the person and they collect 1,000. They say, oh, we're taking you to court. No, these are the problems, and unless we address them holistically, we are not going to move forward.
Definitely. Now, we have some messages here. This one says, this one is coming from Tony A1 from Asaba. He says, the transportation sector problems we have in Nigeria are born out of the fact that the sector is left to be managed by miscreant and agberos. Proper management of the sector requires technocrats who are well grounded in the application of reforms meant to regulate the sector effectively.
You cannot agree less. Absolutely. Absolutely. You see, when you allow riffraffs to be the one that drive your process, you are going to... See, these guys are Nigerians too. They are Nigerians. You understand me now? But when the technocrat knows what he's doing, for example, 2 weeks training there, you understand me now, on behavior, on mannerism, on approach, and then on honesty, integrity, on systems, procedure, processes, everything, change them to a new whole set of people. But if the people sitting in the office and drinking tea do not do their work, then the people who are on the street will do anything, and then the system will be chaotic. And unfortunately, it is these people on the street that the visitors to Nigeria see. You understand me? The embassies in Nigeria. So Nigerians wonder, oh, I went there, they didn't give me a visa. Why would they give you a visa? Yeah. Because your city is chaotic. It shows from the way your people drive, the way the way they behave, the way there's commotion on your street. You are not a country of order, and we don't want you to come and pollute our people. So that's the problem.
Well, I can only say that we have hope to fixing things. I mean, fixing things right in the
there's
country.
hope. Someone like us.
Of course, you are a politician and you're vying for the post of a.
Yes, I'm going for Senate in FCT
from SDP, right?
Social Democratic Party.
Now
we need intelligent people in the National Assembly.
Now in the National Assembly, of course, we are expecting that a lot of bills be passed in this direction. And then a young lady is asking, say, good morning, my name is Aisha Mohammed from Abuja. I'm asking, how would you know the right vehicle to enter? Also talking about this numbering and all of that.
Yes. Now, how to know a vehicle to enter in Abuja is not even the question, because when you stand there for 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, and no vehicle has come, you enter anyone that comes. That's the problem. You see, when there's no proper organization, such that, and that was what the transport policy, one of the things that the transport policy was to take care of, to make sure that there's adequacy of transportation system for the people of Nigeria, so that they will not have to enter vehicles they ought not to enter. If you are waiting for 10 minutes, you won't die. You won't sleep there now. Any vehicle that comes, you will just enter and go. But when the government is doing what it's supposed to do, that there's surplus of buses, BRT, bus rapid transit, which we don't have in Abuja. You understand me now?
Well,
And
just to buttress what you're
Yes,
saying,
and so on.
Philip from Jukwe says, if not for those private vehicles, 60 to 70% of FCT residents wouldn't
be
have been
stranded.
able to go to work because the long
Thank you, Philip.
urban mass buses that they used to help are nowhere to be
They are
found
all
again.
dead. Yeah,
And
if you go,
they
if
were
you go
actually
to
modeled
the
after
agency, you see them all there. They are dead.
after Lagos BRT. Now you don't find them around.
Is of course, Suleiman. You know, you have done a lot of report from various cities of Nigeria. I'm sure when you watched that of Lagos, you had a little hope. Lagos is the only place working in this country. You know, you see because beginning the successive government of Lagos State in the past 4 regime, they look for technocrats to drive the agencies. You know, guys that have been exposed, and they are making sure that look, they are not leaving things where they met it, and they are creating agencies that are making things happen. Abuja is not like that. Abuja is sleeping. The FCT is sleeping. And then not only the FCT, other states are taking cue from FCT and they are sleeping. So we need drivers of development as public servants, as head of parastatals, ministry and agencies of government, and as lawmakers, even as the people that are governors, presidents, and so on and so forth. We need people who are pro-development, who know that, look, power is given to me to serve the people, to make their life easier, better, safer, and more comfortable.
And I mean, today, yes, I agree. The aviation sector is one of the most regulated, transport
part of the transport
sector
yes.
that is well regulated. But today, if you go to the airport, you hardly even see the colored taxis there. It's usually dominated by, some different kind of
Uber has taken over.
All right, we let me quickly take this two messages. This one says 80% of blame is from the government because majority of them are graduate and there's no work for them, so they manage to get something for themselves, so they should only be encouraged. The next one says from I am Khalid Umar Farouk. In critical security challenging period like this, sir, systematic regulation of our transport will not only promote the nation's security but provide further reliable source of generating revenue,
Absolutely.
which is useful for the nation.
Absolutely.
Now let's wrap up on that.
Yeah, absolutely. If we regulate the transport system very well, the gains are so much. Number one, security, just like the last speaker mentioned. Number two, employment. Create employment for people. Number three, orderliness in our cities, orderliness. And number four, people will appreciate us, that we're a country moving forward, and then investment will come and development will follow. So we need to be a nation that does things in the way it should be done. But we should not forget, we are not a banana republic. We are competing with other nations. When every civil servant has this at the back of their mind, when every a key government functionary have that at the back of their mind, then they know that they owe it to the people to move that country forward, so that our people will not be running with one-way ticket to Canada, to UK, and to all the countries of the world.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for speaking to us. Of course, Nigeria is not a banana republic.
We are not a banana
and
republic.
If things are well done, we will certainly, be competing with global best practices. And thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. We've been speaking with Mr. Olarinwaju Osho. He's the Executive Director, Safety Beyond Borders. Thank you for speaking to us.
Contesting for Senate.
I'm tempted to charge you for that.
No.
All right, let's go on a break, and after that we'll see how more for you. So please stay with us. I know that in Oyo State, of course, they have their own system. Yes, Kekenapep is not dominant as it is in Niger State there. But let's take a look at this next report from Oyo State, which talks about the coloration, identification codes and all of that.
Ibadan, the capital city of Oyo State with one of the largest population in the country, rely heavily on public transportation. Before the advent of motorcycles, otherwise known as Okada and tricycle, keke napep, taxis were the major means of public transportation in addition to buses in Oyo State. Officially, these taxis and buses are painted brown and yellow colors to distinguish and make them easily recognizable. However, the operation of these means of public transportation have been heavily criticized due to all manners of misconduct associated with some of the operators. These developments has thus generated lots of complaints and questions, especially on how well organized the public transportation is in the state. Beyond the official colors and the number plate, are there proper identification measures for taxis and all other forms of transportation for easy tracking in case of any irregularities and misconduct?
The situation of the country in general, aside Oyo State, I don't think it's feasible.
Why is it not visible?
With the transport system and park managing system, I don't think they have the facility to do that. I don't think so.
We have a ticket. When you collect it in the morning, you can use that one for a day. If somebody lost something now, you can just call to this garage. When you call to the garage, okay, I'm looking for social number. You will get it.
But how do people, the passenger, know the number?
You know what? There's a day I pick one copper. Reaching the UI, you forget the iPhone inside. Just between 5 or 6 minutes, the phone is ringing again. I answer the call. Who is it? He say, I'm the one, I forget my phone. I say, call to gate.
In the state, we have got what we call the park management system. And the park management system is a system where it involves both the drivers, it involves the government, and it involves the people. And in such, everybody is responsible in terms of commercial operations of the state. And we have a roadmap, and that roadmap has been of a great help in ensuring that there is sanity.
Those who are in charge of motor vehicle administration, they can be given induction course, they can be given computerized training, and we can also go through the park manager system, wherein every motor park will get their vehicles really duly registered, and this thing is fixed into a computer system. If this one is done, I'm sure, one, there will be no issue of duplication of numbers. Two, easy identification. Three, a lot of revenue will accrue to government from this situation.
Considering the critical role public transportation plays in development, it won't be a bad idea to have in place a well-structured system capable of addressing some of the anomalies in that sector of the economy.
Well, the objective is still remains the fact that all states, including the federal government, is to have a well-regulated transport sector system so that it will address some of the excesses or anomalies in the sector. And another issue really that we often haven't been talking about, a lot of people really don't take it up, is the motor insurance. And of course, to engage that, we have joined us in the studio Mr. Taufik Ayeni. He's the regional manager North Retail Business of ICO Insurance. That's American International Insurance Company. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
It's good to have you join us here.
It's good to have you here too.
Now, personally, this is one area that I always, will stop by to just listen to somebody talk about insurance. But let's start from the basis, given what we are talking about today. What really constitutes motor insurance?
Yeah, thank you so much. First and foremost, it is important to know that in Nigeria today, there are about 6 different insurance products that falls under the compulsory insurance categories.
Okay.
Third-party motor insurance policy falls under these compulsory insurance products to protect other road users.
Okay.
In the event of any unfortunate incident arising from the use of a motor vehicle on our roads. When I say on our roads, either a trunk A, B, or C road, as long as the motor is plying on any road in Nigeria, the law says that vehicle must be insured against liability to third parties.
Okay.
That is what the law has said. However, when you talk about motor insurance has three different kinds.
Okay.
We have the third-party motor insurance, we have the third-party fire and theft, and of course, we have the comprehensive motor insurance policies. These are the three types of policies that falls under the motor insurance category. However, it is your choice to upscale to either third-party fire and theft or comprehensive insurance. For reasons being, they have different benefits to offer.
Okay.
But going by the law, the one that is compulsory for all is the third-party motor insurance in accordance with the Motor Traffic Act of 1945, also backed by the Insurance Act of 2003.
Now, let's talk about the third-party insurance. Further educate me about that. How does it really work?
Great. We in Nigeria choose to name it Police Let Me Pass.
Okay.
Because it is the list that the police or the VIO officer will ask you to present at the time of doing their routine checks.
Okay, both police and VIO and road safety can ask for this, all three agencies?
They can ask you to present this, and failure of which can land you to pay penalties.
Okay.
In fact, there are some states in Nigeria now that does not even require the police to stop you. With camera, your vehicle can be captured to validate if you are carrying a valid, genuine insurance or not, at least the third party. So at the point of investigating and doing their routine checks, if you are guilty, you can be penalized. However, what does it offer and at what cost? In accordance to the law, as of today, the cost of a basic third-party motor insurance for a private car is as cheap as 5,000 naira.
Okay.
And then what are the benefits? Which most of us don't know. We really don't know. Most people will end up having to beg on the street in the event of an accident. For an incident that ordinary 5,000 naira would have taken care of.
How do you mean?
God bless you. If there is an accident to a third-party vehicle, another person using the same road, and there is an accident, and I'm the negligent third party, I'm the one at fault. Whatever the extent of damage to that other vehicle is, my insurance company should be able to fix his car. Despite the fact that I only paid 5,000 to a limit of 1 million naira.
Okay.
That is called third-party property damage to a limit of 1 million naira. Remember, how much did the person pay?
5,000
naira. In the event of that same accident, if the occupant of that other vehicle or other road user, it could be passerby, it could be traders, in quote. However, they are not allowed to trade by the roadside. But if there is an accident that leads to bodily injury of third parties, either in another vehicle or other passerby, third party bodily injury is unlimited. Because the cost of treating the number of persons or getting medical attention cannot be ascertained, cannot be fixed. Hence, this same 5,000 naira that has been paid will take care of the medical needs of all persons that must have suffered any bodily injury, irrespective of the amount. After which, death may also occur.
Okay.
God forbid, right? If it leads to death of third-party road users, in the event of that singular accident, the limit of liability to that insurance company is equally unlimited, because the family of the deceased may come up to say, wow, the person that was killed as a result of this accident is the breadwinner.
Yeah.
Hence, you must pay us 50 million, 20 million, 30 million. Whatever the amount that is so stated by the family, if approved by the law court, becomes a liability to be paid by the insurance company that you have paid how much?
5,000.
5,000 naira. So these are the benefits of this.
Now, are you telling me that this is all due to ignorance, but there are other things that is responsible for this staggering figure?
Highest expected buyer of insurance should be the government.
Okay.
When you talk about over 12 million vehicles and only 2-point-something million of them insured, the remaining 9-point-something million, find out most government vehicles are not usually insured appropriately. Whether budgeted for or not is another issue. Now, when the expected highest buyer is not adequately insured, if you have 12 million vehicles, it is an estimate. The vehicles plying Nigerian road today will surely be more than the estimated 12 million registered vehicles, because there will be vehicles carrying private numbers, those carrying contractors' number, presidency. As long as it is a vehicle plying the road, it should be insured. Now, why are they not insured? If the government vehicles or military vehicles that are supposed to be insured are seeing themselves as, no, who is going to stop me? Then who buys? They will not buy. Then in the event of an accident, a government or military vehicle will cause an accident at the scene, but rather, instead of waiting to allow the insurance to take their full cost to compensate victims, they will rather run away, leaving the victims to bear the loss and suffer alone. So all this huge gap comes primarily from that pool where some people feel that they are above the law. Nobody can stop me to check if I have an insurance or not. So they feel they will escape it. The other category are the so-called willful, deliberate, conscious, defiant road users who would not want to buy insurance because they also feel it's like me giving the 5,000 naira away, not knowing the consequence of not having that insurance in place. In Nigeria today, NICOM will penalize any insurance company that deliberately repudiates a claim that is meant to be paid. If you have a genuine insurance policy in place, especially your motor insurance, the easiest way to know has been in practice since 2014, 2015 with the automation of mobile phone. We have what is called the NIID, Nigerian Insurance Industry Database. Once you have a valid motor insurance, at the point of buying that insurance from wherever, the next thing you do is to validate whether the insurance you have is genuine or not. At the point you are buying. And that is available online, even with USSD codes that you can validate if what you are carrying is genuine. And at the point of claim, all you need to do is ensure you meet your insurance company with your certificate and accept liability. That is another thing that is likely to cause issues. People are not willing to accept liability. Hence, they prefer to fight on the road, causing more nuisance.
Well, certainly we want a better system that can work for all in order to fix the system right. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Mr. Taufik. Mr. Taufik is the Regional Manager, North Retail Business, ICO Insurance. You are welcome. Thank you very much for speaking to us on this issue.
Thank you so much.
Tomorrow, Bacons, and of course we'll continue our discussion on regulation of transport sector in the country. Right now, we say bye-bye.